some good news. And I'm talking about what happened to Rudy Giuliani, former New York City mayor and America's most illegal lawyer. You see, he was in a supermarket on Staten Island Sunday, campaigning for his son, Andrew Giuliani, who's trying to make history as New York's first caveman governor. And thankfully, Rudy is now doing okay after just barely surviving a heinous drive-by on his upper back.
Staten Island grocery store workers facing assault charges, accused of slapping former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. This surveillance video shows the encounter inside a ShopRite store. The worker appears to hit Giuliani on the back, prompting a reaction from the former mayor.
NYPD has said that this man was a 39-year-old suspect who approached Giuliani, slapped him in the back, and said, "What's up, scumbag?" Giuliani refused medical attention at the scene, and the 39-year-old was taken into custody with the NYPD recommending charges of second-degree assault.
Don't you laugh! Don't you dare laugh! This is second-degree assault. That's how tough New York's laws are. Third degree is if you lightly blow on someone's ear. And first degree is if you boop them on the nose. Boop! Ah! I've been hit! I've been hit! Please don't get me wrong, I don't think it is right for anyone to be putting their hands on politicians, or anyone for that matter, without their consent, right? I'm not saying that. But no way in hell is that second-degree assault. But I barely tell, that's not second-degree. If that's assault, then what? I guess Will Smith murdered Chris Rock. That's what happened there. And now I'm in the grave. In the grave. And I love how they say Rudy declined medical attention. Medical attention for what? For what? That's the kind of injury where the only thing you could do is kiss it and make it feel better. That's it. Is it better, Rudy? Is it better? In fact, if anyone needs medical attention here, it's the guy who touched Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, that dude's hand probably looks like Dumbledore's after he barehanded a Horcrux. And yes, I will admit, this guy did sound aggressive. But you've got to understand, "What's up, scumbag?" is just how people say hello on Staten Island, you know? Yeah, it's a normal conversation. "What's up, scumbag?" "Nothing much, f*** your mother." "All right, well, nice to see you, grandma." But to me, the best part of this story is that the more Rudy told it, the more the slap seemed to hurt.
He hit me hard enough to knock me forward about like this. You know elderly people die mostly from falls? This guy could have killed me.
I got hit on the back as if a boulder hit me. It knocked me forward a step or two.
All of a sudden, I feel a shot on my back, like somebody shot me.
You know, that was the woman who was rubbing my back. The guy hit me so hard that she herself almost fell from the reverberation of it.
Yeah, that's right. He slapped me so hard my eyeballs fell out, and I had to pick them up and put them back in. You all saw it. You saw. He slapped me so hard I shit out the side of my face 2 years ago. Yeah, that's how hard it was. You saw it, everybody. I felt it. I felt it. You know, I thought that Rudy was lying about the election being stolen because he was a Trump sycophant. It turns out he just lives in another world. This is just his brain. And I will say, in his defense, he was already in a weakened state. You know, you have to acknowledge that. He was out during the day in a store that sells garlic. I mean, you know, it was hard for him. It was hard. But let's move on from an attack that Rudy will always remember to one that he always conveniently seems to forget. January 6th. The day Trump supporters tried to play capture the flag with Mike Pence's head. Yesterday, the January 6th committee announced that they would be holding a surprise hearing with a surprise witness. And you know, whenever Congress says something like, "Oh, this is a must-watch," you're like, that's what they said about Morbius. But let me tell you, people, today's hearing was insane. I'm talking like proper insane. So, let's catch up on all the latest January 6th updates. So, it turns out the surprise witness today was Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to Donald Trump's chief of staff, which means she was often in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. The it was overthrowing democracy. Now, Hutchinson had a lot of first-hand knowledge of what Trump was doing from the moment that he lost the election all the way through January 6th. And one of the stories she told was how Trump lost his shit when he found out his attorney general wasn't going along with his lies about the election.
I remember hearing noise coming from down the hallway. I left the office and went down to the dining room, and I noticed that the door was propped open and the valet was inside the dining room changing the tablecloth off of the dining room table. He motioned for me to come in and then pointed towards the front of the room near the fireplace mantle and the TV, where I first noticed there was ketchup dripping down the wall and there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor. The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall.
And Ms. Hutchinson, was this the only instance that you are aware of where the president threw dishes?
It's not.
And are there other instances in the dining room that you recall where he expressed his anger?
There were several times throughout my tenure with the Chief of Staff that I was aware of him either throwing dishes or flipping the tablecloth to let all the contents of the table go onto the floor.
Yeah, I know. I too was shocked to hear that Trump threw any of his food away. Because, I mean, let's be honest, this guy's taken more selfies with food than he has with some of his kids, right? It's probably the reason Eric dresses up as a hot dog just to get a hug. Do you love me now, Dad? Do you love me? You're the son I always wanted, Oscar Mayer, always wanted. And you heard what she said. This wasn't a one-time thing. Trump was constantly throwing food tantrums. But what's interesting is she didn't say flipping the table. She said flipping the tablecloth. So either Trump was an amateur magician or he wasn't strong enough to flip a table. So he just did the tablecloth. Instead, he was like, And you know, if this happened regularly, it must have sucked for all the people who work in the White House. You know, all the staff who have to clean up after him, the people who made the food and the dishes. Can you imagine how traumatizing this must have been for the dishes? Everybody, welcome to the White House. Be our guest. Be our guest. Oh, what is happening? You just killed Mrs. Potts. Chip, don't look now. Your mother is in pieces. She has been murdered. Oh my God, this man is worse than the beast. We should go back. At least the beast didn't try to have sex with the feather duster. That one went straight to DVD. Now, it turns out that wasn't the only Trump tantrum that Hutchinson testified about, because she also said that on January 6th, as the Trump mob was marching towards the Capitol, Trump wanted to lead them to the Capitol himself, right? But when Secret Service agent Bobby Engel refused the president's request for safety, this happened.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
God damn, that is insane. Trump fighting to take control of the president's car like he's a bad guy in an action movie, only he's the president and this is real life? I mean, you gotta admit though, fighting your own Secret Service agent is kind of genius on Trump's part, right? No, because he's hitting the one person who can't hit back. Yeah, I mean, they can punch back, but then they've got to jump in front of their own punch, you know? Just like, take that! No! Did you feel that one, Rudy? But you know, this whole thing shows you how lazy Trump is. The Capitol is like 2 miles away. Everyone else walked there. But Trump was like, okay, I could walk there, I could walk. Or I could try steal a car from the Secret Service. Which one is it? And not to victim blame, but this is on the Secret Service, right? You had 4 years to Trump-proof that vehicle. You knew who you were dealing with. There should have been a toy steering wheel in the passenger seat the whole time. Just let him think he's driving and go back to the West Wing anyways. And you know, beyond Trump, this story just proves once and for all that sitting in the backseat is always a position of weakness. It doesn't matter what the real power dynamics are. No one in the backseat gets their way. Because, I mean, he's lunging at them like, I'm the f***ing president! And they're like, you're in the backseat, bitch, shut up! He's like, nah. Well, I'm gonna put my window down. So, there were many funny and disturbing moments in today's testimony, but the most damning part of today was when Hutchinson revealed that when President Trump was told that some of the mob had weapons, he instructed security to take down metal detectors and let the mob in.
I was in the vicinity of a conversation where I overheard the president say something to the effect of, you know, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here. Let the people in. Take the effing mags away.
Yeah. Apparently Trump wanted the metal detectors removed so that his supporters with guns could march to the Capitol. Yeah. So I guess he didn't necessarily want to hang Mike Pence. He wanted to also give him the option of a firing squad. So he's pro-choice. This is good to know. It's good to know. All right, that's it for the headlines. But before we go take a break, let's check in on the stock market with our finance expert, Michael Costa, everybody. Michael, it is a crazy, crazy time in the markets, man. What's going on in the market today?
Well, I am crushing the market. I mean, I just keep crushing it.
So you say, Mike.
I keep making so much money. And I have a hot tip for you and a hot tip for you how you can crush it in the market as well. So first, though, Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
You know, I feel bad for him. I do. Because, look, if you haven't been touched in a long time, just the littlest contact, it feels like your whole world has moved, you know? And look, I've had some epic dry spells in my life. I mean, I remember there were years where... Do you want to... We get to the charts real quick?
You can tell the story.
Okay, so look, let's get
you don't want to tell the story?
Let's get to the mortgage rates, Trevor. Yeah, I think sorry, I kind of trailed off there. Look, the interest in mortgage is going way up, okay? And if you're looking to buy a house right now, this is really scaring you. And people are asking why? Why did they start so low and they're going high now? Well, I'm an expert. Let me break it down for you. That's why you invite me here.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So, look, in January, interest on mortgage, it was low. It's cold, right? We have seasonal depression. We don't have any money left from the holidays. I mean, I even tried to call my realtor, but the mittens I was wearing were so big I couldn't even, get her phone number right. So look, now the sun comes out, right? Seasons change. Hey, I'm kind of interested in having a backyard. I'm kind of interested in having a pool. I'm kind of interested in having an open concept outdoor kitchen, right? Now I can flip burgers while I'm talking to my friends as they're swimming in the pool. That's why, Trevor, right now, end of June, interest is at its highest.
Michael, I don't think that that's correct.
Look, here's the long and short of it, okay? These are the three numbers you want to pay attention to. This right here is the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. 30 years? I mean, who's planning that far ahead? 30 years? I don't even know if I have clean underwear to wear tomorrow, okay? I certainly didn't have it today, and now I'm supposed to plan 30 years from now? That's a long time. 15 years, it's not much better. This is the one you want, Trevor, okay? This is the adjustable rate mortgage. This is one you want, but it's competitive and it's tough. And here's how you get it, okay? You have to pool your money with 5 one-year-olds, okay? Now, who even knows one one-year-old, right? And even if you secure a meeting, how do you communicate with that one-year-old? So that's a tough one to get, but you can do it. Hot tip. I promised you a hot tip, right?
Yeah,
okay,
hot
look,
tip.
if you're closing on a house anytime soon and you are unhappy with your mortgage rate, every piece of paper you sign, all you gotta do is just date it back here. The bank has to honor it. That's your hot tip.
Starting to wonder about your expertise. Michael Costa, everybody.